I can't imagine you forcing everybody to do a Shakespeare film. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Somewhere between science and superstition.
We have such sights to show you.
Strange Eons. Welcome to Strange Eons Radio. That is Eric over there.
Hello.
And that is Vanessa over there.
Hello.
And I am Kelly. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Always a pleasure to see you in
Heck
person.
yeah.
you.
Always a highlight when we get together. Highlight of whatever week, month, whatever.
What month is it?
I don't know.
Coming up on Crypticon, so it's got to be May.
Spring. We're in the spring. Okay.
Eric, I know that the
Yes.
Connoisseur just showed this week.
Yeah. We had a fun invite screening, not something we sent in, for the Seattle Film Society, which is a group that's been around for a couple of years now, trying to generate, like we've heard time and time again, and I'm sure you have too, why doesn't Seattle get together more in their film industry and work together?
Yeah.
They had a screening at Northwest Film Forum. It was a sellout. We screened with Ensure Domestic Tranquility by QM Khan's Bubblegum by Celestine Ocean, and Bench October by Ari Chakarian. I'm trying to say his last name. Sorry, dude. I know you're not listening anyway, so. But so there's 4 shorts, about 45 minutes, and we were a hit, man. Huge hit.
Oh, wow.
It's one of those things. I read the descriptions of these 4 things, and they read really dramatic. They're not executed so much. There's more fun in them than they read. But read, I'm going, how the hell are we fitting in with an apocalyptic song? Something about finding out your mother who's missing and a romantic couple that's having a hard time in Mexico City.
Oh.
How do we fit in with that?
Yeah.
Well, we really didn't, but it looked great. It sounded great. And the reaction was hilarious.
Oh, my gosh.
Like I've said before, my favorite moment is listening for those people who, as soon as the
Bottle hits
thing
the shit.
starts, they're going, what? Had a bunch of those, had like laugh snorts from the crowd as it was progressing. And the Q&A afterwards was kind of fun too, because people had so much fun with the short that when somebody asked a real heavy question, like, what was your inspiration for your characters? How did you develop your character for the short? What did you tell your actors and stuff? I'm like, well, nothing really. I did say, I had a couple people in the audience that came up with a story, like they were going to take the Connoisseur home with them, and basically, I explained that I'd work with JD on everything, probably everything I've shot, and the DP knew it, and we just went in and had fun. So, and then I go, okay, but when that question was asked, everybody looked at me like, okay. the 3 filmmakers next go, we'll let you go last. That's not sure. But then there was a lot of that, a lot of good fun. The guy running it did a great job putting it through. They are gutsy. Unfortunately, I can't make it because it's right like Crypticon time. But I'm curious to try this one night to go to an event where basically anybody can bring anything under like 10 minutes, I think, and they'll just play it.
Oh.
I'm like, this could be just fascinating to see what kind of weirdness goes. And I figure maybe I'll go and I'll just bring the package or something like that, or the Lovecraft, and play something abstract. But like that should be weird.
Yeah.
But great group, lots of fun. And I'll be actually meeting with them afterwards, talking about Northwest Film, because Crypticon on Friday, the first weekend in May, has 6+ hours of Northwest filmmaker short films.
Oh, cool.
So it's like, yeah, we have like 80 filmmakers. You have how many filmmakers? Let's meet. I was like, okay, yeah, we'll get together.
Well,
it was fun.
That is very cool. Remind me next episode, I want to talk about some of the stuff that Seattle is not doing correctly as far as putting together some kind of film program that would actually benefit anybody wanting to make a film here.
Man, that's a conversation and a half.
That's why I didn't want to do it right after this lovely, positive conversation.
Super fair. Super fair.
Really, really happy to hear all of that stuff. Do we have another showing of the Connoisseur? Is there anything
I haven't told you both this, but my listeners know that when we first submitted, we went on a great run, got into almost everything. We have not gotten into the last 8 films that are on the list time wise. So
That's
festival.
okay.
So I think
Yeah.
we're nearing a time where we'll probably be posting it on YouTube.
good.
I want to double check to make sure we don't have any open festivals we're waiting for, but I don't think we do.
Okay.
So then we'll
Yeah.
post it to our Strange Eons TV on YouTube television and let you all know.
Well, this is a pretty good run. We shot
Oh, yeah.
this time last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did great on festivals.
Yeah.
If it had been sporadic, like one on, one off, it wouldn't have seemed so weird, but none. It was really strange.
It always is weird like that, though. Like, I remember with one of my shorts, it got into like one thing and then nothing and then one thing. And then all of a sudden, like 5 festivals picked it up because they had seen it at the one festival it played at.
Yeah.
And then nothing after that. So you just,
You never know.
it's such a weird.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome, though. Did you ever find out how they found you and how they found this film?
No, I don't know.
Oh my
not sure.
God.
Maybe
Incredible.
at one of the locals we screened at, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool.
Well, very cool. Okay, let's talk about some stuff we have seen this last week. I don't know if you guys noticed, cared. The Last of Us started up.
I have been avoiding it like the plague because I played the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And- Well, so there's a big thing that happens in
Yeah,
Last of Us 2,
sure
and it happened in the second episode, and I was already kind of struggling in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But when this happened, I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this anymore now. I don't even know. It's not really a spoiler. It's in all of the stuff that has
I've seen lots
come
of
out.
write-ups
Yeah,
about
so
it.
so Pedro Pascal is killed in the second episode.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh, we'll see his finger twitching or something. And then as I watched them dragging her off and him just lying there with his eyes open and blood pooling around him, I was like, oh, I think he's actually dead. And then I went online and found out that, yeah, he does die in this second game.
Yeah.
But he is, I gotta admit, the draw for me to this series. Otherwise, it's just The Walking Dead again with mushroom zombies, and I'm just not sure I need another. This is a dark, depressing show, and without the bond of those 2 characters, I'm like, I don't really think there's anything to keep me watching. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I was really bummed and happy because, like I said, I want every show that I like to stop being good so I can stop watching TV.
Man, yeah, that was my big worry. So I played the first game all the way through, the second game. I got to that part and I was so mad. And I don't know how it happens in the show, but in the game, it's so brutal. Like, he's not coming back. There's like nothing of him left when this chick is done with him. And I was like, I don't want to spend the rest of this game. I know they're going to try to give some redemption arc to this person who's murdered him.
Right.
And I was like, I don't want to do it. And I played for several more hours and it was fine. But eventually I just stopped playing because I was like, I don't care.
I thought that you play the Pedro Pascal part in the game.
No, well, you play, you could switch between the characters a little bit. And then
Okay.
in the second one, you're pretty much fully playing as Ellie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So-
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's much more her like coming of personhood because she's having her relationship and she's figuring that out, and she has this mission where she has to go across, and so she's in Seattle a bunch, so you get to like go around on a horse with your girlfriend through Capitol Hill, and that's fun.
Huh. I wonder if that'll be in the. They've mentioned Seattle twice in the show now, so I was like, oh, that's interesting, and so maybe they will be.
I hope so. It'd be
bringing
really
that to-
cool because they did remake a lot of it. Like the downtown corridor and everything is really fun to go around when it's covered in grass and everything. But yeah, I've been really worried about watching this show because I'm like, man, people don't even know People don't even know what's going to happen. Oh my God. Season 2, everybody loves Pedro Pascal. Oh God. Oh God. So
Yeah. The
here we
reaction
are.
I've seen online has not been particularly favorable. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's like you mentioned The Walking Dead. I watched a lot longer than you do. I know. But at one point they killed, I think it was Carl, they killed off.
Yeah.
And it was incredibly pointless and stupid and just obviously inserted because we haven't killed a main character off recently enough.
Oh.
It was so poorly written.
Carl, his son?
Yeah.
Oh.
And Dean and I were like, we're barely holding on to this show as it is. And this is such an obvious ploy of.
Yeah, because I remember everybody was shocked when they killed, was it Glenn?
Yeah, that was an incredibly intense, dark episode. It was really,
and
really,
right from
really
the comics
rough.
though too.
That's the part I found so frustrating. I was in the exact same situation again because I had read The Walking Dead and watched the first season. I was like, I can't watch the show. I've read the comics. It's just not working for me. And then my best friend was like, you wouldn't believe what happened. And I was like,
yeah, I know.
Bet I would.
Yeah.
Bet I would know exactly what happened. Did it involve a bat? Did somebody's eye pop out? I wonder.
Yeah. Well, so The Last of Us is back. It's on HBO Max.
Excellent. I checked out a couple of films in theaters, so I'll talk about the first one. Alex Garland has another war film out called Warfare.
Totally missed this one coming out.
Yeah. It's a much smaller story. It follows one of the Middle East conflicts where it's just seen through. I think he co-directed it with a guy from the military, and it was an incident that happened to this guy and his unit, and it's just like a story of maybe not even 24 hours in length, as close as possibly can be resembling to what they remember. And it's pretty good. I don't know. It's not a fun watch. But I think they do a really good job of trying to make a war story as accurate and undramatized, but as upsettingly true to what's happening as possible. I don't know. I'm glad I checked it out. Nice little story.
Is this a period piece? What war is this?
Yeah, this is like in the what war was it called when we went in 2002, 2001?
It was 2001.
Yeah, it was after Gulf, the Iraqi conflict. I don't know. It was after 9/11.
Okay.
Afghanistan, Iraq. Yeah.
Is that Desert Storm?
No, Desert Storm's in the 80s. 90s. So yeah, it's whatever Middle East conflict we call it after that.
Wait a second. Was there a conflict in the Middle East? That doesn't sound like the Middle East I know.
What, America going to a desert? God, how unlikely.
Warfare. Was this in theaters?
Yeah, it's still in theaters.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of this.
Yeah.
Once you mentioned the reality one, I was like, I remember reading a little bit about it.
Yeah. It's got some really good people in it. I'm trying to remember their names, but now I can't, of course. But yeah, it's got some really solid acting, and it's nice because it doesn't really take a side. It's more, hey, this thing happens. These guys, they go into this house, they take over the house, and they set up basically a spot where they can snipe and spy on some activity in this really small town in the middle of nowhere. And turns out that everyone knows they're there and start attacking them, and somebody gets injured, and then they try to evac and they can't. More people get injured, and it's like, how do you deal with being trapped in the corner of this small town, surrounded on all sides by people like throwing missiles at you constantly, with wounded, and also trying to get a unit to come out to you, and they won't come out to you because of what's happening, and just all the really good sound design, where like just every time something really loud occurs, like everyone kind of gets that shell shock thing where they just get really still and like confused for a minute. And it's kind of nice because it's not like insinuating anything. It's just like the reality of like your brain got really rattled and you're really confused and you're really good at your job, but not right now. You're not.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Warfare.
if you want a break from entertainment or fantasy, check this out.
Perfect.
Anyways, I take you far away from that to a thing that came up. I think it was, I don't remember where it was. Hulu, one of those, like, well, this sounds bizarre and weird. What the hell? Wrestlemania 9 becoming a spectacle. This is the story of the first WrestleMania that took place in Las Vegas, early 90s. And the first one where they really decided to turn it into a show as opposed to wrestling, where they had some of the people riding in on animals, and they had this big giant thing they built up. And of course, it's Vegas, so they had dancing girls, and they had just crazy shit everywhere. And Hulk Hogan came out of retirement for this one and pissed off Bret Hart for the rest of his career when he was supposed to win, and then Hulk came back. So not telling him, they said, no, Hulk's just back to win the tag team or some shit like that. But then he came in at the end and rescues Bret Hart and gets the overall title. So they're interviewing Bret Hart, and he's like, yeah, here's the conversation where I found out the knife is stuck in my back. He was brutalized for years after that, for a long, long time. But it's kind of an interesting show. That's just, I mean, I haven't watched wrestling for 20 years. I was really, my big peak was actually the Attitude Era with The Rock and Stone Cold, stuff like that. But obviously, you know who these wrestlers are if you were alive in the 80s.
Sure.
So it was kind of interesting, weird little tidbit in it. One of the guys who was an usher for the casino, Caesars, is now the CEO or the head of WrestleMania.
Wow.
And he's like, there he is in the background walking around. Like, well, that's weird. So if you're into that stuff, it is interesting and it's fun to watch. For me, it's like a sports documentary. You know, it's just so, it's worth seeing if you love wrestling.
So this is in the 90s, but the documentary is brand new?
Yeah, it's brand new. Yeah.
Okay.
The big sticking point was they never allowed cameras backstage before. And this one, they decided we're doing so much, we need to document. We're going to have cameras behind, and like the grave guy, the guy who never lost at WrestleMania or something like that, one of their biggest wrestlers ever. But he was God damn it, what's his name? Does like the Tombstone, I think, is his finishing move or something like
Was
that.
that the Grave Digger or something?
Something
Wait, no, that was a monster truck. Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that's the same thing I thought of. Everybody watching this is going, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
But-
his manager was Paul Bearer.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh my God.
But him watching the camera guy should run. It's like, they're all like, why are you back here? What do you film? Why are you doing? Because so there are a lot of aspects of it that make it very interesting, way beyond if you like wrestling or not, I guess, if you really think about it. So,
Wow.
sorry, Matt, if you're listening.
That's so fascinating. I was not a part of the culture until basically, I don't know, 10 years ago. Some friends of mine were like, you're coming to an indie wrestling event in Seattle. And I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, yeah, in this little town hall, you're going to watch these guys wrestle. I'm like, okay. And that's
I've
about
been to
all
one of those.
Yeah, I've been
with
to
Matt.
like 8 of those.
Oh, cool.
Mostly being dragged, but it's
sure.
it's fun. It is
I've heard
really
they're
fun.
a lot of fun.
They're
great.
crazy fun.
They're
And, you know,
great.
it's a small place, so you're like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
But culturally, it's so fascinating. This like weird thing that we as a people decided to get into. Soap operas with human bodies.
Yep. There you go.
And that is called WrestleMania 9 Becoming a Spectacle on Hulu, I think you said.
Hulu, one of those kind of guys.
That sounds
Undertaker.
reasonable. Undertaker.
Undertaker.
There we
Jesus.
go. Okay, well, I'm sure you guys all watched it. Daredevil wrapped up its season.
Yes.
Yes.
And I really loved this season.
Yeah.
I
It
thought
ended
was-
so well.
except that it ended.
Yeah,
you were telling me it was supposed to be
cliffhanger element.
18 episodes originally.
Yeah, okay. Well, I only told you that just now, so this is on you.
Well, but I also was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I can't wait for this next episode. And then
Yeah.
I was looking at it and it was like, this is the total runtime. So,
I kind of thought it was a one-off. I I hadn't really heard much about whether it's continue, how many episodes. So when it hit the end, I'm going, there must be another season coming. And there is. But,
I had a similar experience where it was partway through the episode. I was like, this feels a lot like an end of season episode.
There's a lot to wrap up if they're going to finish it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I really loved it. I think Charlie Cox is just fucking nailing it as
so good.
Murdoch Daredevil.
Yeah.
And of course, Wilson Fisk,
Oh my gosh.
the actor I can't remember right off the top.
D'Onofrio. Vincent D'Onofrio, or however you say his last name.
Yeah.
D'Onofrio.
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 He's so good.
Yeah, I mean, you want him to be comic accurate, so you want him to be about twice as wide.
Yeah.
But he's so good, and he's brought so much depth to this character that I thought was, kind of a one-note character in the comic books.
Yeah.
So I just was really, really pleased with everything.
I've been reading a run of Daredevil, and his voice is now in my head when I read Kingpin. Unfortunately, the guy doing Daredevil's voice isn't quite distinctive enough to push in, but boy, his is definitely
his cadence, man. He has made a life form out of his performance.
Yeah,
it's incredible. It's really incredible.
And that scene with the Punisher in Daredevil's place is like, holy shit. I mean, the blood at least was computer effects, but it was so stylized. I thought it looked really cool, even though it's fake. Yeah, I know, but it looked cool. So who cares?
I also loved during the fight for their lives, Matt Daredevil just getting angry and angrier because Punisher just killing everybody. He's screaming at him to stop, and while he's also trying to fight these guys without killing them. And I was like, they've made such a nice group of characters who conflict so well with each other, but you understand why Punisher and Daredevil are kind of working together, even though they're at total opposite ends of the justice part. And I was like, this is really, really compelling television. I can't imagine Thunderbolts is going to capture my attention like this season of Daredevil did.
Oh my God, no. Absolutely not. But, it'll be fine to eat popcorn too for like 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we talked long ago with Shang-Chi, the martial artist, the 70s martial artist guy movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
Where it's like some of these characters do not need to fight Galactus.
Right.
These characters need to be street fighters.
Yeah.
And Daredevil belongs in Hell's Kitchen.
Well, it did then make me go, okay, while all of this is going on, while the Kingpin is taking over, obviously we can't afford to have Spider-Man. He's not even mentioned. But what about, what happened to Luke Cage? What happened to Moon Knight?
I think we might be seeing those in the next season.
That's what I was wondering, because it felt like, it seems like he's at a point where he wants to reach out for help, but he's not going to. And then with Punisher coming along doing what he does, he's like, maybe I need some like-minded people on my side.
And I think there's also going to be an insinuation, because I've read some comics that overlap with this storyline. I think there's some insinuation that Fisk is going to be locking people up. So while we might not have seen those specific people in cages in that last episode, there might be this sort of people coming out of the woodwork because they're getting rounded up and, they need to band together.
That would fit in what they're doing with Fisk on the storyline.
Yeah, 100%. And since he took over the bar or whatever, and it's starting the movement, God, watching Fisk use his hands to murder people is like the most upsetting image. I cannot get it out of my head. I was like, cool.
Next shot.
Yeah. So, okay, that's Daredevil. It's called Born Again. It's on Disney Plus, but all the seasons of Daredevil are on Disney Plus. So do yourself a favor. They're all pretty good.
Yes.
Are they?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes, they are.
Speaking of pretty good, I saw Sinners.
Man,
I want to hear all about it.
This one.
Dude, I don't even want to. I want to tell you as little as humanly possible about this, other than saying like, it was different. It was a different take on. I think we can all admit it's a vampire movie.
Right. Well,
and he had an idea in his head, and he took it into a place. And I don't know if it's a perfect film, but I will say, like, it's pretty harrowing. There's some incredible scenes where they spend a lot of time talking about folklore and talking about this idea of music breaking barriers and how they visually showcase that as man, you guys,
It's really
you just
good.
need to see this movie. You just need to see this movie. It's a good movie. They do a good job, and you don't spend any time being like, "Why is Michael B. Jordan a twin?" It's like it works. It just works really well. So,
I think almost more interesting is all the behind the scenes stuff going on with this film.
what's the behind the scenes stuff?
So the director's name is Ryan
Coogler.
Coogler.
Mm-hmm.
He came in and basically made a deal with, I think it's Paramount. Is that who put the? Do you know?
I don't.
Whatever deal he
The
made
studio.
is kind of shaken up the industry because after, I believe, 15 years, all rights revert back to him
Oh my
for the
God.
film. He had final cut and something else on there that was like unheard of for and he had a big budget, so he got he basically came in and said, I'll make this movie for you guys, these are my terms, and they said okay, and the rest of the studios are going, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's why there was the controversy with that weird headline that Variety did, where it sort of tried to make it sound like it didn't have a good opening
But
versus its budget, but it
so
had a
weird.
phenomenal opening. It was really weirdly worded headline. I was like,
Oh.
I think I saw somebody tweet about it. I think what's his name from The Mandalorian, the
yes.
creator.
Yeah. That sounds
It's because it's doing phenomenally well. He's making them a lot of money. I don't know what the budget was, but it couldn't have been crazy. I mean, it's
yeah, I know it's not like a Marvel movie or
no,
something like that.
yeah, like there's some special effects, but not a ton. But you can tell he had artistic license because the choices, like, you don't see the horror kick off for at least half the movie because there's a lot of setting stuff up, which you need in a film for you to care about what happens in it. So yeah, and there's some truly weird but interesting things going on in it. So I don't know. I'm glad. Good.
Even more
of
intrigued
this
to see
shit.
Yeah.
More telling the people who are giving you money like why you should have it and let you just do your fucking thing.
why you should give money to artists and let artists be freaking artists.
Yeah.
Not the MBAs saying, hey, this is how you. No. Shush.
Yeah.
Go away.
Just hire the people because you thought they were awesome and you want to see them do their awesome thing. The end. You know?
Yeah.
It's not that complicated. But yeah, I want you guys to check this out so we can talk more about it. But I want you to have a good time. Go see it. I don't want to give anything weird away.
Okay.
Are you good?
I don't know, man.
Cinemas
Okay, good.
in
I liked
theaters.
it. It sounded enthusiastic.
I'm stoked.
Okay, so I watched a TV show that fits in very little of those things. It's actually a rewatch for me. That's right. I watched the whole thing through originally. I'm watching it again. Psych, a TV show about a fake, super observant but fake guy psychic pretending to be psychic and working with the cops.
Oh, is that what this is about?
Yeah.
I always wondered.
I never knew what this show was about.
It's pure silliness. It is a lot of fun. The two leads have a ridiculously good time, and it's total lighthearted silliness.
That sounds great.
And it's so much fun to watch right now because there's no heavy-handed anything. They're not trying to do this or that or any crap like that. It has. I also like it because it needs deep into nerddom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what episode it was, but first season, last one, they go to a sci-fi convention and George Takei is the guest of honor who's all pissed off because he didn't get the right kind of blueberries. And one of the guys is a huge fan of the artist there and complains about how the artist got screwed over by the big studio companies taking his project and ruining it. But it's just fun and geeky. They also celebrate Halloween like very few shows do. Their Halloween episodes are always ridiculous.
Hey.
And whenever they get scared, they do these stupid little screams and they run away, and it's stupid and hilarious. I was scrolling through their Instagram, and they had somebody put together a highlight reel of all the times they scream and run, and it's like this is just fun. And it's I think it's Amazon. But
are you watching it to escape turbulent times?
It's a good show for that.
Yeah. Does the other guy know that the one is faking it? Okay.
They're childhood friends. They've known each other since they're like 7 or 8 years old.
Oh, okay.
And he's well aware of what he's doing and constantly kind of annoyed, but also seems like I've got to see what's going to happen when he does this. So Dule Hill, I can't remember the lead guy's name, but that guy was he's in West Wing.
Yeah. It's the
I forgot the lead.
Yeah.
The other lead's name, but I did see an audition he did for it. I'm like, yeah, that's the character he ends up playing, already personified and perfected in his audition. Like, no wonder you got that part, dude. So
maybe I gotta watch Psych, man. I need something to. Now that Daredevil's done, I ain't gonna watch The Last of Us. I'll tell you what. I mean, I will, but I don't fucking wanna.
You don't have to. There's so much shit out there to watch.
There is.
That's true. I haven't even watched. Is Andor season 2 out now?
It is.
I think it is. Yeah.
God,
I've been seeing stuff about it being pretty intense and heavy.
Yeah.
I have to probably rewatch season 1. I don't remember what the hell happened.
Well, I made the mistake. They have a 15-minute
wrap up.
Previously on.
Yeah. And I made the mistake of not watching that, and I just watched, and they dropped the first 3 episodes, and I'm like, I don't remember who anybody is, but this is really interesting.
Man.
I'll be as surprised as they are when somebody flips sides or something. Okay, cool. Well, why don't we take a little break, you guys, and then when we come back, we are talking about 80s science fiction.
It is a world transformed, where things are not what they seem. It is the world of the Transformers.
The Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots wage their battle to destroy the evil forces of the Decepticons. The Transformers, robots in disguise. The Transformers, more than meets the eye.
The Transformers from Marvel Comics.
We have returned. Some of us have returned. Vanessa, are you with us?
I got an energy drink. I'm good to go.
Chuck.
Okay, so this was my topic choice, and I thought I wanted to get into science fiction, but it had to be science fiction films from the 80s.
Nice.
And with that, I chose right at the beginning of the 80s, 1981, a little movie called Outland.
In a mining town on the second moon of Jupiter, something deadly is happening.
Pretty soon they'll see that this is just like every other mining town. I work these people hard, and I let them play hard. There's never much trouble. We're all professionals.
I'm sure we are. We've only been here 2 weeks. It'll get better, I promise.
I got nothing more on that incident in the mine yesterday. It looks like some guy just went wacko.
It happens here.
How often?
I don't know. It just happens here.
Why?
I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't tell you why. Some people just can't take it here after a while.
What's that guy think he's doing?
No way it could have been homicide. Had to have been a suicide.
28 in the last 6 months.
Did you do autopsy?
No.
Then how do you know it was a suicide?
There's no other explanation.
When a person exposes himself to zero-pressure atmosphere, there isn't a whole lot left to inspect.
Something's there, isn't it?
Maybe.
Trying metal, I want you to know what you're meddling with. How do you lead? We're dealing with grown-ups here.
Bingo.
Marshall, you're dead.
If you're the kind of guy you're supposed to be, you wouldn't stick around. That's why they sent you here.
Maybe they made a mistake.
Outland, the ultimate enemy, is still man.
You guys seen Outland?
No, but I saw a trailer for it. It looked bonkers.
It's pretty good. Written and directed by Peter Hyams, who has done Capricorn 1, The Star Chamber, Eric, Running Scared, Time Cop, End of Days. And it stars Sean Connery, who you might know from Rising Sun, The Hunt for Red October, Highlander, The Untouchables, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, and 6 movies that feature him as 007, James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
The first James Bond. Also in this is Frances Sternhagen, who is a character actress you would know on sight. Tons of television films such as Bright Lights, Big City, Communion, Misery, Golden Years, Raising Cain, The Mist, and 21 episodes of ER.
Oh, nice.
I never watched ER.
Great show.
Wow.
Also in this is Peter Boyle, who you would know from Joe, Young Frankenstein, Taxi Driver, Johnny Dangerously, Malcolm X, The Shadow, and an amazing single episode of The X-Files.
Oh, yeah.
And then in this is James Sicking, John Ratzenberger, Stuart Milligan, and Kika Markham. This is a really weird movie. Outland. In the distant future, mankind is mining ore from Io, one of Jupiter's moons. Io is volcanic, and conditions there are pretty difficult. There's no breathable atmosphere, and miners are in cumbersome atmospheric work suits. Shifts are long, but significant bonuses are paid to boost production. When our story starts, we are introduced to 3 miners who are working one of the shafts. 2 of them are chatting it up with each other, but the third is kind of off by himself, and we can see he is struggling. Some kind of mental trouble. He starts tweaking out and screaming that there are spiders all over him.
Oh, God.
And his 2 other friends are kind of lackadaisical about it. They continue their work and they're like, there's no spiders, there's no atmosphere, get over it and all that. But they think maybe he's just fucking around with them. Then he yanks out his air hose and his suit decompresses and turns him into jelly inside of it.
Oh.
So from here, we're introduced to our protagonist, Federal Marshal William T. O'Neill, who's just been assigned to a 1-year tour of duty at the mining facility. He's a good cop, but his wife really hates his work, which apparently takes him all over the place. They don't really elaborate on that, except for the fact that they have a son who's about 10, and in a fight with her husband, she lets us know that the kid has never even been to Earth. Oh. So I'm like, where are they traveling from? That never really told, but it's an interesting comment. Shortly after the movie starts, she leaves O'Neill on Io and takes her kid back to Earth and pleading for him to join them. Well, O'Neill is kind of a stubborn son of a bitch, and he thinks there's something more to the death of the miner at the beginning. And with the reluctant help of Dr. Lazarus, he starts an investigation that shows that several miners over the last year have gone a little nutty on the Io mining base and have killed themselves, often taking others with them. The base is set up kind of like a old Western mining town. So it has a restaurant and a bar and sex workers and all sorts of stuff. And under the new leadership of Shepard, the head of the mining company, IO productivity has broken all previous records.
Dun, dun.
With Lazarus on his side, O'Neill discovers that the dead miners all have one thing in common, a lethal amphetamine-type drug in their bloodstream. And pretty quickly, he discovers a drug ring to distribute the drug to the miners, run by Shepard, and effectively sanctioned by the mining company. When he confronts Shepard, the administrator informs him that nobody wants the drug shipment stopped. Production is up, the workers are happy, and the corporation is happy. O'Neill vows to expose the entire thing, and that's when all this stuff starts happening. This is basically a remake of High Noon. And there's a shuttle of assassins basically coming to take him out, and he knows this, and so he's reaching out to the other people on the mine base saying, anyone going to help me and stand with me? And they're like, you're supposed to be taking care of us.
Oh, no.
So it's a really good movie. I'm going to run out of time on this one. I remember having a really hard time with this when it first came out because I wanted lasers or aliens or something, but I've become a fan of Westerns, and watching this, I was like, this is pretty dang good. And Sean Connery is fucking great. It also fits in with the technology of other films at the time, so you can imagine that the Nostromo is out there at the same time doing their thing, and that on Earth, Harrison Ford is fighting replicants and all of this stuff. So, a little bit of trivia here. And I'm going to go over because this is interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's fine.
The film was hugely... Thanks. The film was hugely influenced by Alien in terms of style and tone. The films even have the same music composer, Jerry Goldsmith. Wow. However, Outland, in turn, was then highly influential on James Cameron's Aliens, which came out 5 years later. Both films depict a colony on a distant moon, which are very similar in design. And the pulse noise of the computer screens from Outland was appropriated for Aliens and later Alien 3.
Wild.
The movie draws on the Gary Cooper classic High Noon from 1952. Killers are on their way to kill the marshal, who finds himself abandoned by his deputies and with none of the residents willing to stand with him. In fact, as the arrival time approaches, Sean Connery enters a public facility. In High Noon, it was a saloon, and he speaks to the townspeople, repeating the classic Cooper line, "I could use a little help," and receiving none. Wow. In one scene, the planet Jupiter is seen in the background with its thin ice ring surrounding the planet. At the time the movie was made, in 1981, the existence of Jupiter's ice ring was relatively new knowledge. It had been discovered only 2 years before when Voyager 1 flew by the planet. Oh, cool. And then finally, writer-director Peter Hyams handled the cinematography for most of this movie, while Stephen Goldblatt usually worked when there was something Hyams did not know how to do. Goldblatt was misleadingly hired by Hyams, who really wanted him to stand aside and do nothing, and to use him as a scapegoat for the Ladd Company in case anything went wrong while using the new Introvision process.
Oh, my God.
Goldblatt was furious at being lied to and wouldn't have taken the job if he'd known Hyams' intentions, but stayed in order to learn how to use Introvision, and because as a young cinematographer with a sole prior feature credit, quitting the movie could have ruined his career. It is the only one of his movies whose rap party he skipped completely.
Wow.
So,
I love High Noon. So.
Always been shitty.
Introvision? Is that?
I didn't recognize it.
Yeah.
So, and there's nothing really groundbreaking about the film in 1981. The effects are not up to the quality of Empire Strikes Back a year earlier or anything like that.
Like, is it just a lens they used?
Maybe.
Or like weird.
But it is a cool movie. I mean, I watched it this time and I was like, boy, when I was a kid, I needed a lot of action. And this is a lot of character development and kind of a mystery. So
that's good to know because, the trailer did not give it a lot of oomph. And that's part of the reason why I was less interested because I was like, I don't know. This looks maybe a little boring. But
it's not well reviewed either.
Yeah.
But I think I liked it just because Sean Connery is great and Frances Sternhagen is great. And they act really well off each other. And then Peter Boyle is super interesting as a bad guy.
Oh, so, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I love High Noon. So
yeah.
And where did you watch this on?
I think it's on Prime.
Okay.
So, all right. Vanessa, you want to go?
Sure.
5 minutes.
All right. Well, I went with a little bit later on in the decade, 1987's Inner Space.
Test pilot Tuck Pendleton wants to make history. Supermarket clerk Jack Putter needs a vacation.
Jack, you're late. That's not good. You know it's coupon day.
Lieutenant Pendleton is about to be miniaturized, placed into this needle, and then injected into this rabbit.
Rock and roll.
But something went wrong. And Tuck's about to get a new destination. Inside Jack Putter.
I'm in a man.
Hello, can you hear me? I'm possessed!
Now, Jack's got twice the problems.
How you doing, Jack?
But he's double the man. With Tuck on his side.
Kicking more accounts!
In his gut. And on his case.
You're not gonna back groceries all your life, are you, Jack?
And only 24 hours left for Jack to get out of danger. So that Tuck can get out of Jack. Dennis Quaid, Martin Short. Give yourself a shot of adventure. Inner Space.
Yes, I've not seen this movie, so
I just rewatched this.
directed by Joe Dante. He has 41 credits, including Piranha, Gremlins, The Howling, Matinee, The Hole, many of which we have talked about on the show. Starring Martin Short, 115 credits, including Three Amigos, Only Murders in the Building, Father of the Bride, and Alice in Wonderland, as well as many episodes of SNL. Dennis Quaid, 123 credits, including Jaws 3D. Enemy Mine, The Right Stuff, Parent Trap, Day After Tomorrow, The Substance, Meg Ryan, 53 credits, including When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, Top Gun, and Robert Picardo, who has 257 credits, but all you need to know is that he was the Doctor in Voyager. This story follows the disgraced pilot, LT, Lieutenant Tuck Pendleton. He basically has no chance of getting back into the air after an accident, showing up at a big military event drunk, getting into a fight with some cooks, then some other pilots, going home with his girlfriend who's super sick of his shit and dumps him, and then he resigns his commission. Several months later, we find that he is volunteering for a secret mission. He is working with a private scientific company as a pilot for a secret miniaturization project where they will shrink him and put him into a rabbit. As the experiment is underway and he's inside of a syringe, a rival science outlet attacks to try and get the tech and put it out on the black market. One very, very squirrely, surprisingly athletic scientist who does not look like he should be able to run or move the way he does, grabs the syringe and runs out the door, escaping by foot and then bike to the local mall. There he runs into Safeway grocery clerk Jack Putter, a hypochondriac who has been ordered to take a vacation and has just booked a cruise. When the elevator door opens, a bleeding scientist shoots him in the ass with a needle, and Pendleton is now in Jack's body. Unaware that he isn't in a rabbit, Tuck attaches to the optic nerve and discovers he is not where he thought he'd end up. He gets in contact with Jack by basically talking into his brain, and the two of them then have to figure out how to work together and coordinate to evade the evil scientists. Also teaching Jack a few lessons in bravery and coolness, and also save Tuck in general from dying from asphyxiation, lack of oxygen, and a death he'll achieve by 9 a.m. the very next day. They have to get in touch with his ex-girlfriend, who's also a crack reporter, and Jack infiltrates the tech buyer, who is also Robert Picardo, to help intercept the chip that is needed to help get Tuck back home. So this is a super neat idea. I love the way that he's working with this super shady tech company / science unit that's really crap. And they constantly are doing stuff wrong. Like while he's getting ready to get shrunk, some dude's like, oh yeah, I spilled a bunch of coffee on that computer yesterday. Just hit this key, it'll work fine. And like they're jostling like cables, and one guy's late and they're like, we're just gonna have to do it without him. There's just constantly this feeling that things are not right. And it's shocking when it works in general. It's like, oh my God, he did get shrunk. Like also the rival science team is incredible. You're like, why the fuck are these scientists showing? They're like, oh, Meg, it's you. She takes off her like gas mask. You're like, who are you? Who's this lady? What are you doing? Dennis Quaid, this young, handsome Dennis Quaid, has some serious Jack Nicholson vibes, which I was freaked out about. Like the way he talks and moves is so Jack Nicholson. Martin Short being young, hot Martin Short is not hot, but that's okay. It's just fine. Meg Ryan as young, hot Meg Ryan just depresses me because she had a lot of surgery and now it's sad every time you see her. Robert Picardo is so fucking fun. I love his character in this. He's this weird cowboy, like Latvian guy. I don't know. He's doing some weird accent. He's just crazy. But in general, just a super fun, weird film. The villains feel like they walked right out of Austin Powers. It's just so over the top, but really, really neat. And I love they have a whole drama that's going on inside the body of Martin Short's character, where they send like a rival guy in there in his own little miniature suit and they have to fight with their like tech bodies. And oh my God, it's so ridiculous. It's just a tiny bit of trivia. This is the only film by Joe Dante to ever win an Academy Award. All the cells seen outside the pod were in fact made out of Jell-O, according to Peter Curran, the special effects advisor. Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan met on the set of this film, dated from there, and the two later married in 91 and were divorced by 2001, but that's okay because Jack Quaid showed up as a result. William Schillert was cast as Jack's doctor as an in-joke since he played the doctor in The Incredible Shrinking Man from 1957. And despite expecting it to do well, the film was considered a box office flop due to being severely poorly marketed. The budget was $27 million. It grossed $26 million in theaters, but eventually through rentals achieved $95 million. So
that's good.
It got there in the end.
I did not realize it was not a success.
Oh, I knew that. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't realize either.
The group I was with, I guess, we all loved it.
We all liked it. Dante hasn't had a success besides Gremlins, basically.
It's crazy.
That's true.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But yeah, I just rewatched this. I don't know, maybe a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was so much fun. I honestly a little surprised.
I'm
liked it as
glad
much
that you
as
said
you
that
did.
because I was going to say that. This is a pretty broad comedy.
Let's be clear. I've had food poisoning for 2 days. I had very little sleep. This just somehow got to me in just the right set of circumstances for me to have a few chuckles here and there.
Good. Yeah, it's a cute movie.
Yeah, it was cute. It was cute.
Eric, you want to go?
Yeah.
5 minutes on the buzzer.
All right. So we're looking at kind of right in between the two of your films. 1985, Enemy Mine.
Marooned on a desolate planet, he is a soldier. Alone with his enemy.
Don't you understand English, toad face? I don't love you and you don't love me. We're stranded here, you understand?
His suspicion will change to tolerance.
You saved my life. Why? I need to look at another face, even as ugly as yours.
Tolerance will lead to friendship.
We should open up a little place here. I could ruin the food. You could scare away the customers.
And with that friendship will come an overwhelming responsibility.
You must be a parent. Don't kid around, Jerry. You must take my place.
Protecting a life he values more than his own. Dennis Quaid, Louis Gossett Jr., Wolfgang Petersen's Enemy Mine.
Rented on Apple and is for rent a whole lot of places. Reviews are kind of middle of the road for this, but I'd forgotten that this was Wolfgang Petersen directing this film, who directed Air Force One, Perfect Storm, and the fucking amazing Das Boot, which is just a phenomenal film. And one of the few films you can watch that's foreign that if you watch the dubbed, it's the same because all the actors learned English and dubbed their lines, or already knew English and dubbed their own lines for the dub. So
For Das Boot?
yeah,
Okay.
that works. Written by Edward Kama, who wrote Lady Hawk, Merlin, Dragon. This based on a book by Barry B. Longyear. Starring, there's a bunch of names listed, but basically this stars Louis Gossett Jr., who's an Officer and a Gentleman, Color Purple, JD's Revenge, and of course Jaws 3D.
Yes.
And Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
You might know from The Substance, Parent Trap, Caveman, The Hearse, and Inner Space.
Whoa.
So the movie starts off, and it is a unusual situation for humans because they're battling for resources from galaxies they've discovered, and they're fighting against another group that wants the same resources. Who knew? But starts out with a space battle that puts Dennis and Gossett in combat, not directly, but Lewis shoots Dennis's, man, the way he reacted, I don't know, wife or something. Dennis loses his shit. And despite everybody yelling at him, stop, do not go there. You're going to crash on that planet. You don't know the atmosphere. We don't know what's down there. He just goes for it and ends up crashing on the planet. Nowhere near, not really very near where Lewis scratched, but he finds him. I say the effects, though, not great.
No.
It's a good thing most of this movie was not in space. Because it's like, we're talking Buck Rogers, original Star Trek level effects. It was yay. But that's okay because they never go, they go there again, but not the same. The suffers a little bit because I'm guessing at some point the studio said we need voiceover to explain some stuff. And Dennis's voiceover is very dramatic.
No.
It's like he's reading, and then we went to war. The substance was needed. I was just like, Jesus, dude, lighten the fuck up. And I do remember really liking this movie. I originally saw this in theaters, and beginning I'm going to go, oh shit, maybe I should not have rewatched this.
Uh-oh.
The first 10 to 20 minutes are a little not great. But most of the movie is just the two guys working their shit out.
Yeah.
I do find it kind of funny that Dennis yells at Lewis's character for being dumb and stupid. But who's the two characters? Who learns the other one's complete language very quickly and fully nuanced? And Dennis sort of learns. He eventually learns some stuff, but it's like, oh, yeah, no. But it does get a lot better. The voiceover does continue to kind of hurt the film. There's some drama. Its pacing's a little rough. It drags at certain times. It's just like the two, and I think completely immersing Louis Gossett Jr. down to contacts was a mistake. Because he is such a phenomenal actor, and he still manages to pull off a great performance with just his voice. But if you at least could have seen his real eyes, I think that would have helped a lot. But they're like yellow and sort of amphibian looking, so they're sideways slit. This was an international co-production, U.S., United Kingdom, and West Germany. Began shooting in Budapest in 1984, but the original director, Richard Longcrane, ran into creative differences right away. And the creative differences were so bad that they basically scrapped everything he shot and brought on Wolfgang Peterson, who took over and reshot all the scenes he had done after convincing them to move the production to Munich.
Wow.
Where, the German guy had all the resources.
That's got to be so disheartening if you're working on a film and your director is suddenly taken off.
Yep.
Jeez. And they're like, back to page one, guys. Yeah.
The language Gossett spoke was created from scratch using some Russian pronounced in reverse. It sounded really interesting. It was neat sounding. The original novel from 1979 won a Hugo Award for Best Novella. Let's see, what else was there? The budget originally started at $18 million, and of course blossomed by another $9 million as it had to redo everything. It's not the most expensive movie, and it shows in the sets and that space thing I was talking about. It's very obvious that they are in a studio with fake built plants and all that stuff around that look really rough. But the film did not do well. Again, it was credited a lot to the promotions, the advertising. The poster is kind of ridiculous for the movie of the two guys just facing each other. It's like, romance? What are we doing here? It was kind of a debacle, but overall, it's good. Enjoyable.
I remember liking this a lot too. And I do remember that those effects were pretty shaky considering that Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, all of that stuff had come out prior to this.
Yeah.
And these weren't even Battlestar Galactica TV level.
Yeah, they're bad. I couldn't imagine what it looked like on the screen, on a big theatrical screen, watching it. Even worse, because on TV, it's like, ooh.
Did Dennis Quaid give you Jack Nicholson vibes?
I didn't connect with that, but you're saying it. I can absolutely see it.
Yeah,
what you're talking about. His
facial expressions, and
the cadence, the way he spoke was. I think he enjoyed Jack's performances. It's borrowed from a little too heavily for a little while.
Very interesting. And you saw this? It was a rental.
Yeah, it's a rental. A bunch of places. I rented it Apple, but it's on.
I definitely want to check this out. Was this based on a book or anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
The guy that won the Hugo Award in
my
1980.
God.
Did you listen to?
He
just
I'm
was
here.
talking
She
about
nodded
this
off
movie.
for just a second.
He was talking about this movie for the last 5 minutes.
I listened for at least 4.5. Okay.
Good. All right. I did mention the book twice.
Oh well, you know what?
What was this movie called, Eric?
Shush. Hate you
I'm a
both.
little surprised that's not on Tubi or Pluto TV or something like that.
Still, but no, it's still studio owned.
Well, okay. I had a lot of fun with this, you guys.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
Eric, that means that you get to pick the next subgenre.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we should continue on with this and just jump into the 90s, which could be an interesting year for sci-fi, but we'll see what we can find.
90s sci-fi.
That sounds fun. A little caveat here, though. We've got Crypticon coming up, and I know that we are recording a live show there.
Yeah.
And so that might slot in between this one and the 90s, or it might come after the 90s. So
it is, if you're in the area, you can get in Saturday. We're at Saturday night. I forgot the exact time.
7 p.m.
I think we're at 7, yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
7. And come on by. See us. We will have seating available.
It's going to be a squeeze. You might have to wait in line.
If the last time
I'll
was
have
any
stickers,
indication.
Ooh, stickers.
Yeah, we got stickers and stuff like that. Hey, I think I still have a coin or two that we can bring.
Oh, my God.
So. All right, that sounds fantastic. Well, that means here we are at the end of the episode. This is where we say thanks to all you guys out there who are watching the show, but who are also liking and sharing posts, who are having conversations with us on the Facebook page, which I have not been on.
That's okay.
But,
it's still chugging along.
I remember it fondly as the best place on Facebook.
Yes. Yeah, come by.
And also, everybody who's out there donating money, we really, really appreciate that. It's called Value for Value. If you get some kind of value out of this, you figure out what amount that is, send it our way. It might just be, I will share and like your posts.
Yeah. Yep.
So you can reach out to us on the Strange Eons Radio Talk page. And you can also, Vanessa, reach out to us where?
On the Strange Eons Radio hotline. Feel free to call in, leave a voice message. You can also text us there. Is that correct, Eric?
Yep.
The number is 253-237-4266. Call us anytime. Plug us in your phone. Drunk dial us.
What happened to you, DeBronzo?
We're lonely.
What happened?
Yeah, DeBronzo, where are you?
Jamie, huh?
I still talk regularly with DeBronzo, and he is doing just fine.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
So, and he told me that he had just dropped 2 teaser trailers for the Alien Earth on the Strange Eons Talk page.
The next Predator. the guy from Prey, the next movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
so he's,
right.
He's on top of things and,
That's right. Thank you.
Trying to keep everybody interested. So thanks for that,
Yes,
Michael.
thank you so much.
Okay, gang. We'll be back in 7 short days, probably talking about 90s sci-fi or maybe talking about our live show at Crypticon.
There you go.
We
All
shall
right.
see.
See you next Thursday.
Bye.
Transportation and other considerations for Strange Eons Radio, produced by Pan Am Airlines. When you think of traveling, think of Pan Am. You can't beat the experience. Guests of Strange Eons Radio stay at Econo Lodge Everett. It's an easy stop on the road, if you know what we mean. Strange Eons Radio is recorded live in front of a studio audience. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a positive review on your favorite podcast app. Sit, Ubu, sit.
Mostly being dragged, but it's fun. It is really fun.